It's a battle. There's moments where I just kind of break down. Is this going to come back? Is this going to haunt me the rest of my life? Is this constantly going to be a little devil sitting on my shoulder?
Many fans who grew up watching Dave Coulier know him as the cheerful television star who spent decades making audiences laugh with his humor and positive energy. But behind the happy memories and successful Hollywood career, reports say the beloved actor is now facing one of the most heartbreaking chapters of his life.
Yes, 5 weeks ago, I was diagnosed with stage 3 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And in that time, I've had 3 surgeries.
So, what exactly has happened to Dave Coulier at 66? And how has this painful turn changed the life of the man so many people admired for years? Dave Coulier, heartbreaking revelation. Many people around the world were deeply emotional after he shared one of the most difficult and heartbreaking personal updates of his life. The well-known actor, who is widely loved for bringing laughter and warmth to audiences through his role as Joey Gladstone on the popular television show Full House, opened up about the serious and life-changing effects that cancer treatment has had on his body.
1 year ago, Dave was here, right here on Today, to reveal that he was involved in a personal battle he was facing this time, cancer.
Fans who grew up watching his cheerful energy, playful humor, and unforgettable impressions were shocked and saddened to see how much he has physically changed during his ongoing health battle. In a very honest and emotional video message, Coulier explained that he has lost an incredible 45 pounds over the course of his treatment. This significant weight loss happened after months of radiation therapy while he was fighting 2 separate forms of cancer. He spoke openly about how difficult this period has been and why his appearance now looks so different from what fans have always known. He also addressed the changes in his voice, which has become softer, weaker, and at times strained. For many people who have followed his career for decades, this was especially painful to hear because his voice and energetic delivery have always been a huge part of his identity as a performer. Now 66 years old, Coulier made a deliberate choice not to hide his condition from the public. After many fans noticed his thinner body and more fragile voice during recent appearances, he decided it was important to speak honestly rather than avoid questions or speculation. He revealed that the radiation treatment used to fight carcinoma in his throat created severe side effects that made it impossible for him to eat solid food for several months. During that time, his body was unable to maintain normal nutrition, which led to a dramatic and unavoidable physical transformation. He also explained that the treatments damaged his ability to speak comfortably. What once came naturally to him, such as talking, joking, and performing, has now become a daily struggle that requires effort and patience. This detail was particularly emotional for fans because Coulier has long been known as one of television's most expressive and vocal comedians. His talent for creating funny voices, impressions, and sound effects.
What do you know? You're 33 years old and you wear Scooby-Doo pajamas.
Helped define his career and made him stand out in the world of comedy. For decades, his voice was not just a tool for acting, but a key part of his personality and his connection with audiences. On Full House, his character Joey Gladstone was a constant source of laughter inside the Tanner household. He entertained both the characters in the show and viewers at home with silly jokes, exaggerated sound effects, and playful impressions of famous cartoon characters such as Popeye and Bullwinkle. His carefree and childlike humor made him one of the most lovable and memorable characters in the entire series. He was not just a side character, but an essential part of the show's heart, helping to balance family lessons with lighthearted comedy. Because of this strong connection with audiences, seeing him now struggle with something as simple as speaking feels deeply emotional for many fans who have grown up with him. The contrast between his past energetic performances and his current health condition has made his story even more touching. It serves as a powerful reminder of how serious and physically draining cancer treatment can be. Radiation therapy, while often necessary to save lives, can also come with long-lasting side effects that affect basic human functions such as eating, speaking, and maintaining strength. Despite these challenges, Coulier's openness has also inspired a great deal of admiration and respect from fans and the public. Many people have praised his courage for sharing such a personal and vulnerable experience instead of keeping it private. Even in the middle of this difficult journey, he managed to deliver a hopeful update that brought relief and happiness to those who care about him. He revealed that his most recent PET scan results showed encouraging signs for both his throat cancer and lymphoma. After months filled with fear, exhaustion, uncertainty, and difficult treatments, this positive medical news felt like a breakthrough. For supporters who have followed his journey with concern and prayers, it was the best possible news after such an emotional and heartbreaking revelation. Why does this latest update feel so emotional? And what medical struggles has Dave Coulier gone through over the past 2 years? Let's find out. Dave Coulier, shocking health battle. In late 2024, Dave Coulier publicly revealed that doctors had diagnosed him with stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. This is a type of cancer that begins in the lymphatic system, which is an important part of the body's immune defense network. The news came as a major shock, not only to fans around the world, but also to him personally. The actor, who had spent decades making people laugh and bringing joy to audiences, suddenly found himself facing one of the most difficult battles of his life. He quickly began treatment and poured all of his energy into trying to fight the disease. Chemotherapy became a major part of his daily life. This treatment uses strong medication to target and destroy cancer cells, but it may also cause significant side effects such as extreme tiredness, nausea, hair loss, and a weakened immune system. Even with all of these challenges, he tried to keep going with the same humor and determination that had always defined him. At times, when the physical and emotional exhaustion became overwhelming, he still made an effort to stay positive. During this period, he was supported closely by his wife, Melissa, and a small group of trusted friends. Their presence and encouragement gave him strength during some of the darkest moments he had ever experienced. With time and determination, his condition improved, and by early 2025, he shared what felt like incredible news. He was cancer-free. Fans celebrated this announcement, believing he had successfully overcome the illness and could finally move forward with his life. After months of treatment and uncertainty, it felt like a hopeful ending to a painful chapter. For a while, everything seemed to be moving in the right direction. He began focusing on recovery and rebuilding his strength. However, as many cancer survivors know, recovery can sometimes take unexpected turns. Later in 2025, during a routine follow-up scan, doctors discovered something concerning. An abnormal growth was found at the base of his tongue. At first, there was hope that it might be something minor or possibly linked to his earlier lymphoma. But further tests revealed a much more serious situation. He had developed a second, completely separate cancer known as P16 positive squamous cell carcinoma of the tongue and throat. This was not related to his previous lymphoma, meaning it was an entirely new diagnosis and a new battle. This type of head and neck cancer is often linked to the human papilloma virus, HPV. HPV is a very common virus, and while most strains are harmless, some can increase the risk of cancers in the throat and mouth. Even though the diagnosis sounds frightening, doctors often note that HPV-related throat cancers can respond well to treatment when caught early. Still, the treatment process is extremely difficult. Radiation therapy to the throat and tongue uses high-energy beams to kill cancer cells, but it can also damage nearby healthy tissue. This often causes intense pain, swelling, and difficulty with basic functions like eating, swallowing, and speaking. For him, these side effects became some of the hardest challenges he had ever faced. Many patients experience mouth sores, dry mouth, changes in taste, and severe trouble swallowing. In some cases, they are no longer able to eat solid food and must rely on liquids or feeding tubes for nutrition.
Yes, I'm in remission.
Wonderful.
With both cancers, and what a journey this has been.
It really has been. And the second cancer.
This kind of treatment can also lead to major weight loss, which is exactly what happened in his case. He lost 45 pounds, not because of dieting or exercise, but as a direct result of life-saving medical treatment. He explained that he had not been able to eat solid food for months. Simple things that most people take for granted, like biting into toast, eating a sandwich, or sharing a normal family meal, became impossible. Eating is such a basic part of daily life that it is often ignored until it becomes difficult or painful. For him, each day meant adapting to discomfort and finding whatever form of nourishment he could tolerate. This struggle alone was emotionally and physically draining, but it was only one part of a much larger battle he was still fighting. How did it affect his career? Did it slow him down? Let's take a closer look. Impact of the illness on Coulier's career. The effect on his voice has been especially emotional and hard to ignore. Dave Coulier built a large part of his career on his voice work. Long before he became widely known for Full House, he was already famous for doing funny impressions and creating different character voices that made people laugh. So when illness and treatment began affecting his voice, it felt very personal, almost like a key part of who he is as a performer was being challenged. Even while noticing changes in how he speaks, Coulier continued to be honest with the public and stayed hopeful. Speaking openly while going through something so difficult showed a lot of bravery on its own. In February 2026, he shared an important and uplifting update. He was in remission from both cancers. Remission means doctors can no longer find signs of cancer in the body, or the signs have reduced a lot. For anyone who has gone through cancer treatment, those words can feel like a huge relief after a long period of fear, uncertainty, and exhaustion. Coulier described his experience as an emotional roller coaster and said he felt deep gratitude for the positive news. Fans, friends, and many celebrities celebrated the announcement, happy to see him reach such a hopeful stage. However, even after remission, recovery does not suddenly become easy. Many people who survive cancer still deal with lasting effects for a long time. Strong tiredness can continue, appetite may still be low, and tissues affected by treatments like radiation may take months or even longer to heal properly. On top of that, emotional healing is just as important. Survivors often live with fear that the illness could return, memories of painful treatments, and the slow process of rebuilding normal daily life. Because of this, Coulier's update is an important reminder that remission is a major milestone, but not always the final step in recovery. Throughout his journey, Coulier has often spoken about how much his wife, Melissa, has supported him. She has been by his side during hospital visits, treatments, and recovery periods, acting not only as a partner, but also as a caregiver and emotional support system. Their bond has grown even stronger through these challenges, and Coulier has expressed deep gratitude for her constant love and encouragement. In moments filled with fear and uncertainty, having someone who stays committed can make a powerful difference. Fans have also played a big role in supporting him emotionally. After his recent update, messages of encouragement came in from many parts of the world. People shared how much his comedy meant to them growing up and how his strength inspires them now. Some were surprised by how much his appearance had changed, but most focused on the fact that his spirit and positivity still shine through. Many messages carried a similar feeling, with fans saying that he once made them laugh for years and now they are all cheering for his recovery. Several of his celebrity friends also reached out with support. The Full House cast has long been known for staying close even many years after the show ended. The actors who once felt like a television family have continued to support one another through both happy moments and painful losses. Over the years, the cast experienced heartbreaking tragedies, including the death of Bob Saget and others connected to the show. Coulier's health struggles have once again reminded fans of the strong bond shared by the people who brought the Tanner family story to life. For younger audiences who may not be familiar with his full background, Dave Coulier has had a long and meaningful career in entertainment. Before becoming a household name, he worked as a stand-up comedian known for his clean humor and impressive voice impressions. In 1987, he joined Full House, a sitcom that went on to become one of the most loved television shows of its time. The story followed Danny Tanner, a widowed father raising 3 daughters, with the help of his brother-in-law Jesse Katsopoulos and his best friend Joey Gladstone. Coulier's character, Joey Gladstone, brought comedy, warmth, and unforgettable moments that helped define the show. Full House became a worldwide success and left a lasting mark on television history. Its themes of family, love, support, and resilience connected deeply with viewers across generations. Years later, Coulier returned to the same role in Fuller House on Netflix, bringing back the familiar humor and kindness that made Joey so beloved in the first place. That same connection is why so many people continue to care deeply about his health and recovery today. Beyond his acting career, Dave Coulier never stopped performing and entertaining people. He kept working as a stand-up comedian, a voice actor, and a familiar television personality, making audiences laugh across different generations. His talent was never tied to just one famous role. Instead, his whole life became about spreading joy wherever he went. That is why his current health battle feels so deeply emotional to many fans. The same man who spent decades giving people laughter is now, in a very different way, inspiring them through honesty, openness, and quiet strength. But how did he cope with the recovery process? Was he on a regular health routine? Let's find out. Coulier's recovery journey. Coulier has spoken about how everything he has gone through has changed the way he sees life. After facing 2 serious cancers in a short period, he was forced to rethink his daily habits, his surroundings, and what truly matters most. He became more careful and aware of the products he uses and the choices he makes every day. During his recovery, he also found comfort in painting and other creative hobbies, using art as a form of healing. These simple but meaningful activities gave him peace, focus, and a renewed sense of purpose. In many ways, cancer did not only affect his body, it completely reshaped how he thinks and lives. His experience also shines a light on how important regular medical checkups are. In fact, his second cancer was found during a routine examination, showing how life-saving early detection can be. Even after successful treatment, continued monitoring can make a huge difference. Because of this, Coulier has been open about encouraging others to listen to their bodies and seek medical advice without delay. His message is simple but powerful, and it has the potential to save lives. For many people who have gone through cancer themselves or supported someone who has, Coulier's story feels very real and familiar. The weight loss, the tired appearance, the weaker voice, and the emotional toll are all struggles that families around the world recognize. Yet, despite everything, his positive medical outlook and determination to keep going offer a real sense of hope. His journey shows both the pain of illness and the possibility of recovery. One of the most powerful parts of his story is his honesty. In a world where celebrities often try to appear perfect, Coulier chose to show the truth instead. He did not hide the hard parts of treatment or pretend everything was easy. Instead, he allowed people to see the real effects of cancer and recovery. That openness has made his message even stronger. As he continues to heal, gratitude has become a major part of his life. He is thankful for good scan results, for his doctors, for the support of his loved ones, for his partner Melissa, and for the fans who have stood by him. Most of all, he is grateful for the chance to keep living and creating after such a difficult fight. That appreciation shows in every update he shares. The road ahead is still not easy. Recovering his strength, regaining weight, and rebuilding his voice and stamina will take time, especially after treatments like radiation, which can have long-lasting effects. But the most encouraging news is that his doctors remain hopeful. After everything he has endured, that hope means more than ever. To many fans, Dave Coulier will always be remembered as the playful, funny uncle from Full House, known for his silly voices and endless jokes. But today, he represents something even deeper. He is a survivor who has faced life-threatening illness with courage, honesty, and grace. He has turned personal suffering into awareness and encouragement for others, showing that even in the darkest times, there is still a reason to hope. Seeing his physical changes can be emotional, but behind them is the same kind, humorous, and generous person people have always loved. In fact, his journey has revealed an even stronger inner resilience than many ever realized. As fans around the world continue to send support, there is growing optimism that this painful chapter is finally coming to a close. His story reminds everyone that fame does not protect anyone from illness, but courage, love, and support can carry people through it. It encourages others to value their health, appreciate their loved ones, and face hardship with honesty. And now, holding on to the words many were waiting to hear, the prognosis looks good. Fans see real hope for recovery. But how was his early beginning? Did he come from a humble background? Let's find out. Dave Coulier, early life. David Allen Coulier, known professionally as Dave Coulier, was born on September 21, 1959. He came into the world in Detroit, Michigan, a major American city known for its rich music history and strong working-class roots. He was born to his parents, David L. Coulier and Arlen Coulier, and grew up in a family that had a mix of cultural backgrounds and traditions. His upbringing was shaped not only by American life in Michigan, but also by deeper family connections that stretched beyond the United States. As a child, Coulier was raised in the Catholic faith, and much of his early life was spent in a nearby suburban community called St. Clair Shores. This area offered a quieter, family-centered environment compared to the busy city of Detroit. Growing up there gave him a stable and supportive setting during his early years. He was one of 4 children in his family, sharing his home with 3 siblings, which meant his childhood was full of activity, interaction, and the everyday experiences of a busy household. On his mother's side, his family roots trace back to Bathurst, New Brunswick, in Canada. This connection gave him part of his heritage from outside the United States, adding a cross-border cultural background to his identity. On his father's side, his family history is also diverse and deeply rooted in migration stories. His paternal grandmother was a Jewish immigrant who came from Germany, bringing with her a European background that added another layer to his family history. These combined influences meant that Coulier grew up with a blend of cultural traditions, stories, and values that shaped his personality in subtle but meaningful ways. During his school years, Coulier began to show early signs of his talent for comedy and performance. His first steps into entertainment did not happen on a big stage or in front of professional audiences, but rather in the familiar environment of his high school. While still a student, he discovered that he enjoyed making people laugh. He started performing impressions of his school principal and other staff members over the school's public address system. These playful impersonations quickly caught attention because they were funny, bold, and surprisingly accurate. This was the beginning of his journey into stand-up comedy, even though he was not yet aware that it would become his career. He later attended Notre Dame High School, Harper Woods, Michigan, where he continued developing his interests in both sports and entertainment. He graduated in 1977. During his time there, he was not only focused on humor and performance, but also participated in athletics. He was a member of the varsity ice hockey team, playing in the defensive position. Ice hockey was an important part of his school life, and being on the team helped him build discipline, teamwork, and physical endurance. One of his teammates during this period was John Blum, who would later go on to become a professional NHL player. Sharing the ice with someone who would reach the highest level of professional hockey added a unique chapter to Coulier's teenage years. Another important figure in his school life was Mark Sandrowski, who later became a well-known television director. Mark Sandrowski had known Coulier since the 3rd grade, and the two of them built a long-lasting friendship. During their high school years, they often collaborated creatively, making short 8mm films together. These early film projects were simple and made with limited equipment, but they showed their imagination and interest in storytelling. Their friendship and creative experiments during this time helped shape Coulier's early understanding of entertainment and performance. After finishing high school, Coulier decided to continue his education at the University of Michigan. However, his time there did not last very long. After completing his freshman year, he made a life-changing decision to leave college. He chose to drop out so he could focus fully on building a career in comedy. This was a bold move, especially because leaving university meant stepping away from a more traditional and secure path. But his passion for performing and making people laugh was strong enough to guide him in a different direction. By choosing comedy over college, Coulier committed himself completely to developing his stand-up skills and pursuing opportunities in entertainment. This decision marked the true beginning of his journey toward becoming a professional comedian and actor. Was he involved in any relationship? Did he get married? Let's find out. Dave Coulier, personal life. In the early 1990s, Dave Coulier entered a short marriage with actress and model Jane Modian. Their relationship lasted about 2 years, but during that time they welcomed a son together named Luke, who was born in 1990. Even though the marriage eventually came to an end, both remained connected through their shared responsibility as parents, and Coulier continued to be part of his son's life as he grew up. After his divorce, Coulier later began a relationship with Canadian singer-songwriter Alanis Morissette. The two dated for around 2 years, and their relationship ended shortly before Morissette began working on what would become her breakthrough album, Jagged Little Pill. Over time, a strong rumor spread in the entertainment world suggesting that Coulier may have been the inspiration behind Morissette's famous emotional song, You Oughta Know. The song became widely known for its intense feelings of heartbreak and anger, which led many listeners to try to connect it to real-life experiences. In a 2008 interview with the Calgary Herald, Coulier spoke openly about this long-standing rumor. He suggested that he believed there was some truth to it, explaining that when he once reached out to Morissette, he felt he received a response that seemed to confirm the speculation. However, the question was revisited years later in the 2021 documentary Jagged, where Morissette herself denied that the song was written about Coulier. Even so, the timing of their past relationship and the release of the song has continued to keep public curiosity alive. Many years later, in 2005, Coulier's personal life took a more stable turn when he began dating photographer and producer Melissa Bring. Their relationship grew stronger over time, and after several years together, they decided to make their commitment official. The couple married on July 2, 2014, in the state of Montana, marking a new and lasting chapter in his personal journey. Outside of relationships, Coulier has long had a strong passion for aviation. He is a licensed private pilot and owns a Beechcraft Bonanza aircraft, which he flies himself. His interest in flying began very early in life. When he was just 5 years old, he experienced his first flight in Michigan, an event that sparked a lifelong fascination with aviation. He later went on to earn his private pilot certificate in 1979, at the same airport where his interest first began. Over time, he also achieved an instrument rating, allowing him to fly in more challenging weather conditions and rely on instruments rather than visual cues alone. In 2012, he further refreshed his skills by training on a Cirrus SR-20 aircraft to maintain his flying proficiency and stay up to date with aviation standards. He is also involved in the Hat in the Ring Society, which supports the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association (AOPA) Foundation, an organization dedicated to promoting safety and education in general aviation. Beyond flying, Coulier is also deeply connected to sports, especially those linked to his hometown. He is a passionate supporter of ice hockey and often takes part in charity events connected with the Detroit Red Wings. His enthusiasm for Detroit sports also extends to baseball, as he is a fan of the Detroit Tigers. In addition to cheering from the stands, he has also participated in celebrity softball games, blending his love for sports with charitable causes and public events. In recent years, Coulier has faced serious health challenges. In October 2024, he revealed that he had been diagnosed with stage 3 non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a cancer that affects the lymphatic system, which plays an important role in the body's immune defense. Following this diagnosis, he began undergoing chemotherapy treatment. Later, on December 2, 2025, he shared further news about his health, revealing that he had also been diagnosed with P16 squamous carcinoma located at the base of his tongue. This second diagnosis was discovered after he underwent a routine checkup that included a PET scan. Following this discovery, he began radiation therapy as part of his ongoing treatment journey. Despite these challenges, Coulier also experienced joyful news in his family life. In November 2024, he announced that he would soon become a grandfather, as his son Luke and Luke's wife were expecting their first child. This happy moment brought light to an otherwise difficult period. The family welcomed the new baby on March 27, 2025, when Coulier officially became a grandfather, adding a new and heartwarming chapter to his personal story. So, what do you think about Dave Coulier's heartbreaking life? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.